Hello, subject scribers. It is I, King Arthur, once again. We at Pendragon Industries are thrilled to announce the launch of Questalot, a new service for those of you who hate wasting time.
If they hate wasting time, what are they doing on YouTube?
You again, Pipkin. Pray don't interrupt so much this time. It is my channel, you know. I was just explaining to my subject scribers that they can now, for an additional fee, send my knights on quests for them.
Wait, I thought your knights were your subject scribers. They pay you money, and then have to go on quests for each other?
Isn't it great? The way it works, you see, is that the lower tier members go on quests for the higher tier members.
So why would anyone be a lower tier member then?
Exactly. Couldn't have put it better myself. Everyone needs to take advantage of this deal and graduate to the next tier. Think of the savings, at least in terms of time. All out of half and half? Need your clothes dry cleaned for who knows what reason? Need to pick up embarrassing personal hygiene items? Well now, there's a knight for that. Really? Sir Questalot, my most faithful knight. With winter coming on, I was getting stressed out about hibernation readiness. Will your knights gather slugs and mealworms for me? And maybe some prawn cocktail chips? Why yes, they will. Prawn cocktail chips, ahoy.
So it's basically Uber Eats or DoorDash, except, they pay you?
I admit it bears a superficial resemblance to certain food delivery services currently on the market. But what it lacks in originality, it makes up for in historical precedent. My knights have been going on quests for me from the very beginning. Also, it's larger in scope. Sure, if you're hungry at 3 a.m. and you need a churro, they'll charge out of their house and...
They ride horses still?
Well, of course they do. They're knights. Anyway, they'll pick you up something to eat, but they'll do so much more than that. For instance, according to this book you told me to read, Pipkin, if you're a highborn lady and stuck in a tedious 9-to-5 job weaving textiles, they'll decapitate your boss and sick their pet lion on them, thus rescuing you from...
So it's DoorDash but with murder? I'm pretty sure that's not a thing you can legally offer.
It's funny you should mention that. See, there's this one fox who finds me hibernating old just about every year and steals a few of me commemorative plates just to be nasty. Last year he got me Liverpool pint glass and me Queen's Platinum Jubilee tin. Do your knights have much experience hunting foxes? Do they ever, Sir Questalot? We'll get your treasures back in no time and make that fox into a throw rug.
Again, you can't offer to hunt down... Never mind. Sounds like you've been really inspired by Sir Yvain, the Knight with the Lion by Chretien de Troyes.
Inspired? Giving this Chretien de Troyes fellow a bit more credit than he deserves. Can't say I'm terribly impressed with this Yvain, if I'm honest.
Why not?
Well, in this book, he kills the lord of a castle to avenge his cousin's honor. Then we're supposed to believe that the dead lord's widow falls in love with him, marries him, and makes him the castle's new protector. Then he decides to leave on his wedding day for some adventures with his friends, and his new wife says, sure, as long as you come back in a year. Then he forgets to come back. Then, after a few more adventures, he tricks her into taking him back anyway, and they live happily ever after. A bit much to swallow. Also, I'm looking for reliable delivery knights. Nobody's going to trust Yvain to pick up a chicken sandwich and waffle fries, for instance. Cool, where's me mealworm munchie box? Order those what-sits a year ago. Off a star!
Yeah, Yvain does annoy modern audiences because the character's reactions to things don't make a lot of sense to us, especially when it comes to love. We're used to the psychological realism of novels, or at least to the illusion of psychological realism that novels usually give us. The motives of Yvain and other characters in Chretien's stories are hard to understand.
Wait, you agree with me? Didn't you say this was great literature, though? Why would I read it if the main characters don't even have relatable motives?
There are at least two answers to that. The first is this. Chretien probably inherited the story from an older Welsh myth. Myths tend to have their own sort of dream logic. The hero travels to the other world and slays the guardian of a magic fountain. In myth logic, that makes him the new guardian. As the first guardian's replacement, he also becomes the husband of the Lady of the Fountain.
Okay, fine. But then after they get married, Yvain leaves and doesn't even keep his promise to return after a year.
Again, though, that's pretty consistent with how myths and dreams work. Both are always working out a kind of anxiety over deadlines, taboos, banishments. My point is, in the original myth of Yvain, it was probably less about love or lack of love, and closer to the sort of dream where you're at school or work and have a test you'd forgotten about, or realize you didn't wear pants.
Pants, is it? Cool. You humans and your posh ways and lordy-daws. Here I am dreaming every night about not having enough food before winter, and you can't do without pants? Sometimes I dream that I'm just an ordinary guy instead of King Arthur, and I wake up screaming. How do you stand it, Pipkin?
One leg at a time, I guess? People in the old stories aren't ordinary either. They're mythic heroes. Sometimes they tell you how they feel about something in a speech, but most of their experiences are beyond ours. How can we understand how it feels to enter the other world? We can fantasize that we're like these heroes thanks to the heroic myths, but we can't imagine they're like us.
Not like you mean? I've been to the other world, you know. Don't really like to talk about it, though. Very sparkly. Memory's a bit fuzzy. Oh, boy, sounds like me in Benidorm last summer. Proper, decent clubs, and me and the lads would be on it every night till sparrows. Cool. But if you ever asked what we got up to, I don't understand a word you just said.
Anyway, my point is that nobody could just know what the hero of a piece of literature was thinking unless that hero sort of told them in a speech. But then along comes Chretien, and there's this really cool fad at the same time called courtly love that everyone is into thanks to troubadour songs. The troubadour lyrics tended to be about secret love that the troubadour harbors for this or that lady at court that they can't confess openly, but that they do sing about, giving you a window into their tumultuous inner life, emotions that they rarely get a chance to act on or speak about in any other way. Chretien takes some of these lyrics, he's a troubadour too, and some of these ideas about love, and he peppers them into the stories of Arthur's knights he's retelling, so that his knights are not just good at killing people. No, they felt the deep wound of love themselves. It starts to become commonplace that a real knight needs to be in love to truly have a noble heart. So we get lots of talk from Yvain about love, as well as description of his emotional state when he's in love. And it's suddenly this love that's supposed to drive the choices he and Lady Laudine make. We start to get a direct window into a hero's heart and mind, even if their motivations don't make a lot of sense to modern people. Eventually we start to get the same sort of thing in prose romances, then finally the novel, where it's as though we can read a character's mind. Think about Don Quixote, for instance.
That Spanish creep who thinks he's a knight? I try not to. Talk about someone out of touch with reality.
But that's my point.
Oh, everybody in Benidorm was doing the Spanish creep, or the Amapiano shuffle. That fox thought he could outdance me at the club, but I mugged him off proper. Probably why he stole my commemorative plate.
Don Quixote is often considered the first novel because his inner life contrasts with the world around him, and you know what his thoughts are. But that sort of thing all starts with Chrétien de Troyes. Until he comes along, a romance is usually an action story in the vernacular, that's why it's called a romance, about a larger-than-life hero. But in Chrétien, it's an action story in the vernacular with love. And you get to see the secret reasons why characters do things, even if they don't tell you about them. You get to hear their thoughts. It evolves into the novel eventually, but it's not a novel yet.
And the choices the characters make still aren't believable.
That's part of the point, though. The troubadours in Chrétien emphasize the fact that love is not reasonable. It doesn't make sense. Shouldn't. According to one of the troubadours, if you want to love, you need to abandon sense and reason. The way the lady and even Yvain acts is...
Bored. I wonder if Pipkin can tell I didn't really do the reading, but just listened to half a podcast. Even that was a waste of time, and now I have to listen to him yammer on. I wonder why nobody else besides Questalot has given me any money to help me reclaim my crown. Is it the crow's feet? Should I think about Botox? They say other kings do it, and you have to maintain some sort of royal image in this business, so I suppose I could write it off at least.
This is why I think so often in romance you have the knight going off.
Blimey! I'm sure they can all see right through me. It's written all over my face. Those commemorative tins belong to the fox, and I nicked him that time I came round to watch the match. He was just stealing them back, fair play, and now I've besmirched him and he's going to get made into a throw rug. But if I tell the truth, I'll lose my knightship for sure, and all the privileges appertaining thereunto.
And so that's the other answer.
Interesting. Yes, interesting. Very.
You weren't paying attention, were you?
Oh, yes, of course I was. And subscribers, you should know that here at Pendragon Industries, we take personal appearance quite seriously. In fact,
well, there you go, Pipkin. You failed once again to keep an audience interested or engaged, even as you've done your best to transform the collection of random trivia you've amassed into something halfway meaningful. If only I'd taken my mother's advice and gone to toll booth operating school, but my cursed pride got in the way. Life on the highway. I'd come home at the end of a long day, changing $20 bills with a sense I'd done some good in the world. Able to afford those light-up shoes for all the little Pipkins.
And tax-deductible, I think. Pipkin, are you paying attention?
Nope.
Well, that's a shame, because I was about to talk about the second thing that makes Questalot distinctive from all those other services out there. According to this other novel,
Not novel, romance.
romance novel you made me read, if you're feeling unlucky in love, there's a knight for that too, named Lancelot. But we'll talk about him next time. Call blimey, just when this was getting interesting. We hedgehogs ain't exactly lucky in love, yes I know.